3 nights, 3 shows, 10 bands. Let's see how that went. Hey guys, how's it going? Excuse me. So, this past weekend, experienced something that I haven't experienced in this context. Probably the most bands I've ever seen within a certain number of days outside of a festival setting. Yeah, so it was 3 different shows, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. 3 bands Thursday, 3 bands Friday, and 4 bands on Saturday. So that's 10 total if you keep count. On the Thursday show, I was not planning on going to. Yeah. I mean, it was one of those, it'd be cool to check out. But then, my girlfriend Satara mentioned that she wanted to go and asked me if I wanted to go. And I'm like, well, if I can get a ride, sure. I mean, if it's not a big deal for you to swing back and pick me up. She said, no, not at all. Yeah, you're going. So we went. And I did not capture any video. I probably should have, but I was just there to enjoy. And we had already been planning on going to the other 2 shows, so this is kind of like a bonus show. But, yeah, so the main reason that I went was because the first band up was my old cohorts in Outlaw Saint. This was the first full show that they had done with the new lineup, because they had done kind of a preview thing a couple weeks ago at the Thursday night open jam at Route 47. Maybe a month ago, whenever that was. I don't remember. Memory, time, all that fun stuff. So, it was at the North Star Bar, which is a place I'd never been. Excuse me. I'd heard a lot about, but I'd never been. So we go down there, and it's a neat little bar. Not quite. It's an odd setup. I mean, you walk in, and you run into the bar, and your typical like square bar in the middle of the room. Then they have like booze all around on the one side, and on the other side is where the stage is. So the stage is over here. And then pretty much nothing. They have no tables, no chairs, no booths, no nothing. Just open space. On the other side, and so there. So it's kind of divided and kind of weird, but it works. And I know a lot of shows have taken place there. So I kind of feel. There we go. So I kind of feel bad. This is my first time there, but what are you gonna do? So. Got there, hanging out. Billy and Steve, 2 other former OS members, showed up, and we were hanging around chatting with them, and said hi to Tank and all that stuff. And the new guitar player, Johnny Outlaw, came over and was talking to me, and I mean he was talking to me like he knew me, which I know a lot of people have a tendency to do. But I don't think we've met before, not formally at least. I mean, he seemed like a really nice guy. Seemed like a really cool guy. So, no argument there, but it was just kind of weird. And then, so we were chatting and kind of talking about stuff, and then they had to go play their set, and it was good. I mean, for what it was good. I mean, I've talked about Outlaw Saint a lot on this channel, and you know my feelings about them. Other than the fact that I just, you know, wish Tank the best and hopefully gets it good together. But yeah, it was, if they keep going in this direction, I think they may do okay. Meaning it seems to be more of just like a straight ahead rock direction, which is what they've always kind of done, with the exception of Failure, which was Failure's not an option, not Failure, in that sense. The album, the concept album that we did. And I mean, again, it is what it is. And this is our last show for a couple months. I got to take a couple months off and finish the new album and, you know, do all that fun stuff. So again, just wish them the best. That's what you do. Next band up was a band I'd heard about. I heard the name, at least, for a while, but I'd never seen. A little trio called Speed Billy, who were, yeah, they were good. They impressed me. I don't know what I was expecting, but it was not that. And I mean that in the best way possible. I don't even know how to describe them. I mean, I guess more of a punk ethos more than anything else, and just everything. I mean, their name is Speed Billy. They're going to be fast, and they're. I basically just watched the drummer the whole time because he was just fascinating and good and just fluid and oh my god. And it was funny because afterwards, I mean, I had to go talk to the guys, just like, you know, and, you know, we were talking stuff and, you know, I was just like, you know, and as a drummer, I can appreciate what you do. And he's like, I figured you were, I saw you checking me out in a certain way. And the way you were looking, I figured you must have been a drummer. And I'm like, okay, cool. So we have that. And then he went on to say that he usually plays better, but he was a little bit drunk that night. To which, of course, I had to say, you know, if that was you drunk, I don't think I want to see you sober, because Jesus Christ. So if you like very high energy, energetic music, go check out Speed Billy. I will definitely be going to their page and purchasing some of their stuff for sure. Because they were good. And last up on the bill was Mommy Says No. So this was my second time seeing them, and because I had to work the next day, we could only hang around for a couple songs. But they were good. I mean, and they seemed to be, and we both agreed on this. They seemed to be, or at least to our ears, and I don't know why, a little bit better than the last time we saw them. And this is not an insult to them at all. Just first time I saw them, neither of us walked away really impressed. But this time we kind of did. It was different. It was weird. So maybe on a third seeing of them, you know, who knows what happens. But so that was Thursday night. Anyway, so that was Thursday. Friday night was the Friday the 13th show at Club Underground. With Tomorrow Brings New Blood and Hex Vortices and Living Through Ghosts. So got out there and hanging out upstairs in the Spring Street Tavern portion of the bar, if you've ever been there. And the first people we see is all of Hex Vortices sitting at a table, hanging out, having dinner. So we kind of wandered over there and said hello, and I introduced her, and you know, that was all good, and chatted for a little bit, and then we ordered a drink. No, we didn't order a drink because we got our drinks downstairs, and eventually wandered down, and started making the rounds, saying hi to everybody. I mean, there was people there that I knew, not as many as the week before for the Sun Mouthwash show, but there were a few people. Because let's see, yeah, I don't know. It was a long weekend. I'll just put it to you that way. It was a long weekend, but it was good though. So first up was Tomorrow Brings the Blood, who I had seen a couple times before, but this is the first time I saw them post Mike Bloodfist leaving the band. So with the new singer, whose name I believe is Rob. I met him later on in the night, and I believe his name was Rob. Don't quote me on that. Anyway, yeah, here they are. yeah, so yes, and your eyes were not mistaken. That was local legend, as I call him, Donnie Darko on bass. And it was funny because I saw him because we went down and they were sound checking, and I looked up and I was like, wait a minute, that's Donnie. What is he doing? So I kind of talked to him a little bit when I got done, and I was like, so did I know you were playing bass in this band? He's like, nope, surprise. And I was like, all right, thinking I'd missed a post or something, because that would be kind of a big deal. But we're all good. But yeah, they were good. It had been a while since I'd seen them, and they were much better than I remembered. How that goes. So yeah, so good start to the night. Next up was my boys Ian Hicks Vortices. And this was their first show in like 2 years. First, like, club show, because they did the live stream back in August, give or take, of last year, which I had a hand in with the filming. So that was it was running a set, so it was kind of a show, but to an audience of like 2 people, maybe 3. 2, yeah. But yeah, so they come on, and as per usual, they haven't lost a step. Because in the intervening year, they released an album, Precipice, which is an absolutely killer album. You should get it. And yeah, they just came out and did what they did, and this is what they did.
See the road from the heat coming off.
Yeah. I like that song.
Alan, I like the way the lines run on the back of those stockings. No. Don't take them off. Hey! God damn, I'm having fun tonight. Yeah! It's all because of you guys. Thank you. How about an older one, huh?
Yeah, it had not lost a step. And this was the bass player Alan, who's been in the band since last spring, so almost a year and a half. This was his first show, so that was kind of cool. And yeah, they just destroyed the place, which I fully expected them to, because that's what they do. And then last up was Living Through Ghosts, who, again, I'd seen a couple times, but not for a while. First time I saw him was, 2016, 2017, something like that. I saw him at the Terminal. Completely different lineup, I think, with the exception of Trent on vocals. And I think I've seen them at least one time since then. I think. But anyway, but they were good. I mean, and it was kind of funny because of the three bands that night, that was the one that Satara was really kind of not looking forward to, because she had heard the album and she was just like, God, that's slow, because she's more of like a, not really into the slow, the ballady kind of thing. And I'm like, well, just think of it kind of like, early Sabbath, but even early Sabbath was, the kind of beginnings of doom, but they weren't, comparatively, they weren't doom. So they came on, and literally within a song, maybe a song and a half, she kind of turned to me and went, okay, wow, yeah. So yeah, so she pretty much walked away a convert after that, and this is what she saw.
Hey, ask Steven. This next song is called A Walk to the Water. Thank you for those of you who are sticking around.
Anyway, yeah, so that was Saturday, or that was Friday. Yeah, good times. And good mood. Again, another good mood in the room. Like, it was kind of like everybody was there for the same purpose. Which again, I know is usually how these shows go, but even more so in the I don't want to say post-COVID, because we all know we're still in it for a while. In the slowly opening up post-pandemic thing. I don't know. It is what it is. Anyway, so Saturday. So we pretty much rest all day Saturday, which probably wasn't the wisest thing, because I mean, by Saturday night, by the fourth Saturday night, I was getting kind of starting to fade a little bit. But we do. So Saturday was at the terminal, or my old stomping ground, and another good night. And okay, so note of interest. My buddy Lou, showed up at Club Underground Friday night. His first show that he'd attended in like 2 years. And so I was, of course, happy to see him. Last time I saw him, he helped me move that couch up to my apartment, and that was last October, I think. I want to say something like that. So almost coming up on a year ago. So yeah, it was good to see him. And then he showed up Saturday night too, at the terminal, him and Trent, which was fun. So we're hanging out, and let's see. So first up for Saturday was a band called Misery of Flight. Now we had seen Misery of Flight at the Red Sea a couple months ago. A couple months ago. I think it was a couple months ago. And yeah, I thought they were good. When we saw them then at the Red Sea, it was a trio. They had a guitar player and main singer, and then a drummer, and then they had a female singer, and I think she was kind of like doing samples and stuff, and maybe some keyboard stuff, but she was not in attendance Saturday night, so it was just a two-piece. But still, and I don't know if they were using backing tracks or not. If they were being used very, very well, because you couldn't really tell if they were, obviously. So yeah, they were good. And
actually, I should give a quick shout out. Fix the Glitch is after this, right? Those are our freaking guys, by the way. Shout out to Fix the Glitch. Love those dudes. Oh my god. Seriously. Shouts out to everyone here. Trio Stasis, shout out to them as well. Give them a little round of the drums. Okay, that one was really fucking good.
Do we have Dissolus in the house? Where are they at? Where are our friends? Yeah.
Yay!
They're somewhere. They're far behind.
Yeah! Ready, Joe?
falling leaves and freezing rain replace me, then the memory reminded of all that I can't be. When I've never really felt alone, when it turns around I'll never know. Regrets keep calling out my name, won't agree to end this life in vain. Existential journey misery rooms, I feel how best I get beneath the nameless grave. Step to the end, but no longer afraid of the abyss that calls. How often I've seen every empire I've till I fade and expire. I guess there's no point in saying goodbye.
So next up, was Fix a Glitch. My old buddies Fix a Glitch. I think this is now the 587th time I've seen them. Joking, but I have seen them a lot. Probably more than any other local band, I think, at this point. And it was interesting because the last couple times I've seen Fix a Glitch, they've done a lot more newer stuff, a lot more heavier stuff. But this time they changed it up completely, and it was like, seeing them back in 2018 or something. I mean, they did songs that I literally haven't heard them play in like 3 years. So that was kind of cool. And then they ended with a couple of the newer ones. So it was a good balance. It was a good, yeah. And aside from Ben, the guitar player, breaking a string and taking probably a little bit too long to change it, but that's okay. We had fun, played the Jeopardy theme song, and James was kind of rambling, and it was a good time. It was good. I mean, it was again, it's a terminal. These things happen. There was still a good feeling in the room. It was, yeah. And
that's true. We haven't just started, man. Shit. Maybe. Take it back, what makes you smaller? I live so happiness, would you please? I live so happiness, help me. I live so happiness, would you please? I live so happiness, help me.
There you go. Next up was a band that I had not seen before. This is my first time seeing them. A band called Geostasis. A little background. I had briefly been in a band that I wound up naming. We never went anywhere. We never did any shows or anything. We barely wrote about 3 songs, I think. But I gave them the name Burning Daylight, and then left shortly after, oddly enough. But the guitar player, Iago, who I knew as Omar, kind of hunted me down. I mean, I don't know. He was looking to get a band together, and he found me somehow. And I don't remember what I was doing project-wise. I don't remember. I don't think I was an Outlaw Saint. I may have still been an Astronauts. I don't know if Smudged was still around. I honestly don't remember the timing on that. But we got together with this other guitar player named Clyde, and it was just the 3 of us for a little bit. And then we eventually got the singer named Tika. And we only had a couple practices with her because I don't know why. But anyway, I didn't last very long in that band. And apparently, from what I've been told, that band didn't last very long after I left. But Friday night, I was talking to, who was I talking to? I was talking to Jeff from Samatha. He was there. And this dude was just kind of standing, kind of looking at me, and I was like, okay. And he was like, you used to be in Outlaw Saint, right? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, Ryan, right? And I'm like, yeah. And he took his hand. He's like, oh, I'm Jake. It's like, okay, cool. And we started chatting. It turns out he's the drummer for Geostasis. So I actually met him the night before. And when I mentioned that I was going to be at the show on Saturday, he was like, all right, cool. See you there. So I met him, and it was good to see Iago again. Haven't seen him again in 3-4 years. Again, timeline, who knows. But it was good to see them. And so I'd only heard a little bit, a little sample of one of the songs. So I wanted to go in fairly cold, fairly, unknowing. And it was interesting. I mean, musically, it, ranged. It was all heavy, a little bit traditional. There were some thrashy moments, stuff like that. And then they had this younger female singer who sang clean. Excuse me. The bass player did some growly stuff, but she mainly sang clean and almost entirely in falsetto. So it kind of worked, but it really kind of, I don't know. Like I see what they were going for, but it wasn't quite as tight and as like something was a little bit off. But I mean, other than that, it was good. I'm not going to say it was bad. It was good. They just need to kind of work on the mix of things, I think, a little bit. But I see where they're going, and I'm interested to see how that all plays out. I know they are going to be dropping an EP in October, full-length EP. So we'll see how that plays out. And yeah, it'll be interesting to see. And So, last up in this very long weekend was Distilled Descent, who I'd seen 3 times. I think this is either the 3rd or 4th time I've seen them. Oh, maybe more. Maybe more. Because I saw them at least once, maybe twice. I saw them at Sword Moto Fest. I briefly saw them and mainly heard them at Rockfest. And then, yeah, so maybe 3 or 4 times I've seen them. And every time I do, I forget how good they are. And the show was running late for some reason. And I think I general consensus is that, you know, music should probably be done by 12:30. And by the time they got on stage and were starting to play, it was getting to be like 10 after 12. So it's like, okay, let's go. So as a result, there weren't. Their set was kind of weird in the sense that because they were kind of pressed for time, there wasn't. I mean, a lot of talking between songs, a lot of that stuff. Everything was kind of run together. So the video that I got, if it's not a full song, guys, I apologize. I couldn't really tell. And again, it was getting to the point in the weekend where I was just like starting to that off. But here's what I got of them.
How you feeling tonight? Me too.
So hard to proceed. Even if I'm there, you make me up this once. If you even care, I can't hear you, I can't see you, I can give you everything. I took my hand off of the plow and gazed upon the road behind the river. Don't ever get to see I got it, yes, you're right. Your silent killing sun, the criminalization, followers that don't virtually a crack grave. Not in the sun, at least I could say, we'll leave the body burning, there's nothing other way. You lit a fire, then walked away. When I'm a tough choice you made. So things of one way. Your relevance will
So, so yeah. So the takeaway for the weekend, as we were discussing on the way home, was biggest surprise for her, at least, was Living Through Ghosts. I figured they'd be good. Biggest surprise for me was Speed Billy, just because they were, yeah, go get some Speed Billy. But yeah, it was good. I mean, overall, it was a very good weekend. It was a good weekend of music. It was a long weekend of music, but it was good. It was good. And the variety and the different settings, you know, being in 3 distinctly different venues. But it was all good. You know, you do what you do. So rest of the month, I know I've got one show that I'm planning on, that we're planning on attending next weekend, and we'll see how that plays out. And then something maybe a little kind of special the weekend after that. We'll see how that plays out. And then as we just get into September, I will have to do my September calendar. The thing with the squares and the numbers. Calendar, and figure out what and where and who I want to see and all that. And you know, do this as long as we can this time around until, you know, everything fucking shuts down again. But anyway, that is not for me to decide or to discuss. So all I can say is just be cool, don't be a dick, you know, do what you do, life's short, support all your locals. See you next time.